Well, hey there, welcome back. I am so glad that you are with me this week. This week we are continuing on with our Prep With Me series, and I'm so excited to share with you all of my bulk spices that I've had now for a little over 3 years, and they're still going strong, and it was just one of the best decisions that I have ever made as far as my kitchen pantry goes, is to buy spices in big bulk quantities. So if that interests you, grab a cup of coffee, grab some tea, sit back and relax. We're just going to be talking about my top 11 spices that I have on hand all the time. So before I get started, of course, I have to do a shameless plug to our little farm shop, which is TheTexasBoys.com. If you haven't already, please go over to TheTexasBoys.com and find a little something for yourself. It's a great way to treat yourself to something special and support all that we do here on our channel. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. So about 3 years ago, I decided that I wanted to invest in bulk spices, but the first step that I needed to do was to take inventory of all of the spices that I had in my house at that time. And then the next thing that I did was to go through all of my spices and get rid of all of the things that I didn't really use on a regular basis, stuff that was just extra spices, and I donated all of that to a friend up the road. And what I did was I narrowed it down to, if I could only have just a handful of spices, what would they be? And I narrowed it down to these 11 spices, and they have served me really, really well over the past 3 years, and I haven't had to go out and buy any additional spices. I've been able to cook everything, all of my family's foods, desserts, everything from these spices here that I'm gonna share with you today. So maybe these spices won't fit your needs. You might have to adjust certain things to your family's taste and preferences, but this is just a baseline for you to go off of. And I'm also going to share with you all of the Amazon links. They will all be below. Again, that is just for a baseline. That's just for you to get a good idea of what a good price would be to pay for bulk spices. But from that, I'm going to also share with you some other places that you can go to buy your bulk spices if you can't get them locally. So you're going to have other options today, not just Amazon. But for those of you who still need Amazon to get your things, that's totally fine. I'm going to leave all those links for you below too. I'm going to give you some other options. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing, real easy, right out the gate, is salt. So our family has switched over from using the Himalayan pink salt to Redmond's real salt. And you can do your research on salt and the best salt for you and for your family to use. We're going with the Redmond's real salt right now for a lot of different reasons, and we have been really, really happy with it. It comes in a 10-pound bucket. Now, we ordered our Redmond's real salt directly from Redmond's, from the company, but you can buy it on Amazon as well in bulk, and I'm sure you can buy you could source it from other places as well. So the next thing on my list was an overall Italian blend mix of seasoning. And this serves really, really well. And maybe for your family, it won't be an Italian blend mix. Maybe you don't use Italian spices, but you use a different type of blend. Maybe it's a poultry mix, or I know people like a lemon chicken mix or something like that. Whatever your go-to mixes that you like to use in a lot of different recipes, you can just replace my Italian seasonings for what your preference is. But for us, we use Italian seasonings quite a bit with making different dishes. So I went ahead and bought, this is a 2-pound container, was the biggest that I could find. It's made by Chef's Quality. is the company. It's Chef's Quality, and it's a 2-pound container. So going back 3 years ago, I actually bought it in a 5-pound container, and I still have about half of that left. So a 2-pound container will probably last you quite a bit of time. Just to give you something to wrap your head around. But as many spices that I could, I bought in the 5-pound container. So when I go to replace this, I'll buy it. So I would just go ahead and replace it with another 5 pounds of Italian seasoning, because that's lasted us a long time. Next up is, so my chili powder I got in a 6-pound container, and it's right back here. It's about halfway too. So this was 3 years ago when I got it, and we're about halfway mark. So if that gives you some type of indication, and we are a family of 8. Next up is, and I should say that none of my spices have shown any signs of going bad or just like not doing well or not holding up or anything like that. Everything has stayed perfectly fine. I keep it in my pantry. It's cool and dark in there, and I keep it on the top shelf, and it's all stayed just perfectly fine. You could also keep this just on your kitchen counter space if you have a shelf. We actually built a shelf on my kitchen counter, so that way the spices aren't sitting directly on the counter, but they're up, and then I can just grab them by the handles, and then I can just use them for cooking very easily right from the kitchen. Next up is parsley, and I got a 1-pound bag. It also comes in the same size container as your 5-pound container size, the big jug, but it's 1 pound because it's parsley and it's very light. So parsley, I just throw it in everything. I throw it on top of pasta. Parsley is just really, really good for you. You can look up all of the medicinal benefits of parsley, and it's just really good. It's a great prep. It's something that's great to grow in your garden if you're growing a garden, and I just throw it in everything, like I said. Next up is cinnamon. Now, cinnamon, do your research. There's a lot of information out there on cinnamon, different types of cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon, cassia cinnamon. There's just all different types of cinnamon. You need to do your due diligence and find out what is the best cinnamon for your family, or maybe you're just going for a price point, which is where I was at 3 years ago. I just bought based on the price point because I just wanted to stock my pantry. So I got 5 pounds of cinnamon back 3 years ago from the company Spice Classics, and my cinnamon, I am really down low on my cinnamon. I actually need to reorder cinnamon. I have like maybe, I don't know, maybe a pound left of cinnamon, not very much at all. So I need to go ahead and reorder that. So at this point too, it's a good time to bring up that once you buy your spices, like I bought them in those big jugs with the handles, now you have your jugs, so you don't have to necessarily reorder your spices from the same company because you already have your jugs, you have your containers. You can just go ahead and maybe order from a different company, like Frontier Company, say for example, and maybe you could refill your jug up with something that's organic, maybe, you know, up the game a little bit with what you're filling your jugs with at that point, and maybe you could even get it at a better price. So just saying that step one would be to get all of your spices and get them in place in your pantry or in your kitchen, and then in a few years from now, maybe it'll be 3 years, maybe it'll be 6 years. A lot of these spices, it's looking like it's going to be about 6 years before I have to total, so 3 more years from now before I even have to look at going on and replacing some of them. And some of those, they even come now, and I'm seeing like the big 1-gallon buckets, which are really nice, and they're sealed, so that would be really nice too, and you could work out of them. And if you didn't like the containers with the handles, you could just work out of mason jars, which would be really nice. You could do quart jars or You know, maybe if your kitchen is smaller, or you have less people to feed, maybe you just want to put them in pint jars, whatever. So I love how having all of my stuff in jars and containers looks in my kitchen. I'm very visual, and I like seeing everything out, and it just is like inspiring for me to make things and do things because I can see it all. And I just love the look of the country kitchen with all the jars and everything. I just think that's cool. So anyway, there's a couple different companies. There's this unpretentious ground kasha cinnamon, and it comes in a 1 gallon bucket. Or you can just go with the old standby of the Spice Company. They make the ground cinnamon in a 5-pound container. So just shop around and see what you can find. Next up is the pumpkin pie spice mix. And I really, really love having pumpkin pie spice mix for making our pumpkin pies. It replaced me having to stock up on like 3 different ingredients. Instead, I can just do the pumpkin pie spice mix, and then I can use it. We can put it in our coffee. We can use it to make pumpkin pies, pumpkin breads, different desserts. It's just so handy and multi-purpose, like the Italian seasonings for us. It's just very multi-purpose, and we love it. So I ordered 5 pounds of the pumpkin pie spice, and that was by the company Delish, and they come in, it's like a plastic jar, but it has like a little indentation, like handle, like a hand grip. It's not a handle, it's just a grip so you can grab it. So that was nice too. That was a nice design as well. Next up is curry powder, and I did curry powder on purpose because of all of the medicinal reasons for using curry powder. There's a lot of anti-cancer qualities that are in curry powder, and I just wanted to be able to add them very easily into a lot of like soups and things that my family might not exactly notice me adding it into, and thereby they're getting some of this nutritional benefit without even knowing it. So that's why I ordered the curry powder, and I can't find it in the company that I originally bought it from, but I see it now in this company. It's called Toss, Toss, and it's 35 ounces of easy, it says easy pour curry powder. So that's what I'm seeing right now, and that's $12.99. But again, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you some other resources where you can go and find some things. So just hang tight with me. And at the end, I'm going to tell you some other really great places to shop and find some of these bulk spices. So let's go on. Next up is my granulated garlic powder, and it comes granulated, or it can come in just the finely ground garlic powder. Either one, whichever one you prefer. They sell both, and this one again is by the Gel Company, and it comes in a 5-pound food service. You know, the jug, the handle jug. I've replaced, within 3 years' time, I've replaced garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, and cinnamon. I know that I've replaced those. So we do go through those. So not everything is going to last you 6 years. Some things you will go through a little more quickly, just depending on, you know, what your family enjoys eating. Okay, up next is 1 gallon of nutritional yeast flakes. And I love adding nutritional yeast to different things, different foods that I serve, because again, I sound like a broken record, but there's just a different nutritional impact that things have, and nutritional yeast is one of those things. It just brings a big punch to the table. It just offers a lot of different health benefits. You can look it up for yourself and find out all the things about nutritional yeast, but we started using it years ago, and I just really enjoy it. A lot of times I'll add it into like mashed potatoes or soups, things like that, just wherever I can, sprinkle it in, and it's it's really good. It almost has like a rich, like a cheesy type flavor to it. So there's all different things, again, with nutritional yeast. Different people have different preferences of what types of nutritional yeast they buy, so you can look that up and see what is best, or maybe you're just going for budget friendly and just getting some in your pantry. I know people like to put it on popcorn. I've never done that, but I just like, you know, adding it in to our foods. And this one I see here, I've never been able to find the nutritional yeast in the big jugs, like in the big commercial kitchen food service jugs. I've only found them in sealed bucket containers. So that's worked out just fine, and I just take it out of the container and then just use it from a mason jar in the kitchen, and that's been fine. So this one is by the Birch and Meadow company, and it's 1 gallon of nutritional yeast flakes. And yeah, it's a gallon food grade bucket, so that's good. Next up, we got 2 left if you're with me here. So this will be number 10, is our finely ground black pepper. So we started with salt and we're almost to the end now, and we're ending with black pepper. So finely ground black pepper. I messed up the first time 3 years ago when I bought my 5-pound jug of black pepper. I bought the whole little black peppercorns, and then I had to grind them all myself when we needed to fill up our little pepper shakers, or I keep a little pint jar of ground pepper by my stove for cooking. So I just had to grind that up, which is fine. I just put it right in the coffee grinder, and it did fine. So I'm still kind of working through that. But when I replace my black pepper, I will be sure that I pick out the finely ground black pepper. And this comes in a 5-pound jug, again, from the Gel Spice company. And lastly is granulated onion powder. And again, it's just like the garlic powder. It can come granulated or it can come finely ground powder, whichever one you prefer. This comes in a food service size jug, 5 pounds, from the Gel Spice company. And I have had to replace my onion powder. I just love it. I put it in several different recipes that we use. We just love garlic and onion is just a staple in our house. I use it. Y'all, they are my 11 things that I use, I have in my kitchen, I store in my pantry. I just have them all the time, and they serve me well. I don't find myself needing anything else. I don't find myself having to go to the store and do anything else. I can be creative and I can work around any gaps that we have with these basic staples. So I encourage you to take inventory of what you have, reduce down to whatever your bare bones minimum is going to be, and see if you can work within that range. And I promise you, it'll probably meet all of your baking and cooking needs, just working with a baseline. And it's just so wonderful to be able to buy these things in big bulk quantities, because spices are so expensive, and it just saves so much money and so much time from having to constantly be running to the store and be like, oh, I forgot oregano again, you know, or just one of those random little things. Just having it all in your pantry or in your kitchen ready to go is awesome. So like I promised, if you held here with me till the end, I'm going to share with you some old school places that I have shopped in the past before Amazon. So one of my favorite places to find bulk foods is bulkfoods.com, and this is not sponsored in any way. This is one of my OG original, like going back 15 years ago when I first started prepping. I used bulkfoods.com for a lot of different things. Now, you do have to shop it out, price per pound or price per ounce, and make sure that you're getting a good deal. But generally speaking, it gives you a good place to go and get a lot of your dry goods staples from. And they do have a pretty good organic section as well. Lots of just all different things are going to be found here on Bulk Foods, and they do offer $5 shipping for any orders over $75, which is really great. So it's basically like free shipping. And I would always just make sure my order was over $75, and they ship everything right to your house. It's just really easy and convenient. And right here on their front page, just to give you some ideas, they have their top featured products is xanthan gum powder, bacon bits, chai seeds, milk chocolate toffee almonds, white Jordan almonds, organic raw almonds, golden flax, and carob raisins. And you know, actually golden flax is kind of cool. I think I'm actually going to check that out because I was just hearing somebody talking about making flax milk or hemp seed milk, and that's something that I want to kind of look into because I use my Meadow machine. You can also use an Almond Cow. You can look up the company Almond Cow. They also make a milk machine, but I love my Meadow as well, and I use it to make all of our family's non-dairy milks, and it's just great. Being able to make milk from your preps is wonderful, and getting your family used to those types of things are really, really good as well. So, okay, so the next option that you have if you're shopping for bulk spices, I would recommend going and checking out Foodtolive. So it's foodtolive.com, and on their website they have lots of different things that they offer as far as dry goods, but they also have a little heading up here, spices, and you can find all types of different spices, lots of organic options as well. And for example, their organic ground cinnamon is $24.99 for 4 pounds. So it seems like a really good price. They also have organic cacao powder. Foodtolive is just one of those companies that I really like, and a lot of their stuff, maybe all of their stuff, is USDA organic and non-GMO and kosher, and it's just really cool. So, okay, y'all, and my last option that I'm going to give you if you're looking for another place to compare prices is frontiercoop.com, and it's just all one word. And on Frontier Co-op, you can go underneath their cooking and baking section, and if you click on that, it's going to bring up all of their different spice options. They also sell all kinds of different really cool dry goods on here. I love Frontier Co-op. I've bought lots of different things from them over the years, and they have like an apple pie spice blend, and you can buy just so many different things. Your turmeric, your allspice, ground black pepper. I'm seeing all kinds of things under here. Let's see. Celery salt is on here. Chili peppers, caraway. There's just so many different things. So anyway, and it says free shipping on all orders over $39 and save 10% on your entire order with their promo code. So it looks like you can get some really good deals from Frontier Co-op, and that's just another really great option for you. I think in the days that we're living in, y'all, like I said, use Amazon as a baseline for price comparison. And absolutely, if you are a working mom, or you're busy, or you're just limited on time and you don't have the time to shop around all the different places, then absolutely, the number one priority is get your pantry, get your kitchen stocked up, and be prepared and be ready for anything that might come ahead. So that's number one. If you have to use Amazon to do it, go ahead and do that. But second best, or I guess first best, would be to go ahead and shop it out old school, look around and see what other companies that are out there that are still independent, and we can just put our dollars where our ethics are and support those types of companies as well. So with that, y'all, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you want to see more videos that are aligned with stocking your pantry and this kind of thing, you can check them out right here. And until next time, y'all, I will see you right back here, and we will be stocking up our pantries and prepping more together, and I just have a great time doing this. If you have any thoughts or comments or resources or anything like that, please leave them in the comments below. I love everybody who's watching this and following along. Love y'all so much. Hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye-bye.